And a very pleasant good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Tornado Talk, where we talk all things Brevard College Tornado Athletics. We're here most Monday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, reporting live from the campus of Brevard College in Brevard, North Carolina. Glad you're able to join us for this evening's show. We've got a lot of exciting guests on tap from the football program here at Brevard College, along with volleyball. We'll also be talking some cross country and getting into a ton of topics this evening on Tornado Talk. But before we get started, do want to thank our sponsors here at Brevard College Tornado Athletics: Arby's, BSN Sports, eGolf Ford of Brevard, Hampton Inn, Ingalls, Jets Pizza, Parde Sports Medicine, Pepsi, Sully Steamers, Triangle Stop, and Young Transportation. Appreciate their support of Brevard College Tornado Athletics. We also want to take a moment to recognize Parde Sports Medicine and Southeastern Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Just a fantastic partnership. They are the official healthcare provider for Brevard College Tornado Athletics. In addition to the outstanding quality of care provided by the orthopedic doctors, Parde also offers care in the areas of oncology, cardiovascular, primary care, and several subspecialties. Parde Sports Medicine, proud partners with Brevard College Tornado Athletics. Well, a lot to catch you up on since we saw you last. Women's soccer, they are on a 3-game win streak, a 2-0 win over Bluefield in West Virginia, a 4-0 win over Warren Wilson at the Ives Lamel Family Field, the friendly confines, and then 6-0 over Allen. Those 10 consecutive goals in those 2 home games, and in fact, if you date back in the 3-game win streak, we're talking a 12-0 advantage in terms of goals scores and goals against. Of those 12 goals, 6 of them came in these last 2 games, 2 hat tricks by Abbie Mayer, and she was named USA South Player of the Week. Women's soccer will be back in action versus Carlos, 7 p.m. this Thursday at Ives Lamel Family Field. Hope to see you there. Men's soccer with its first win of the season, 2-0 over Bob Jones this past weekend. They will hit the road this weekend, but then their first home game of the season after 6 consecutive road games, 5 p.m. on September the 21st at Ives Lamel Family Field. Volleyball, we'll be talking volleyball later in the show. Wins over Toccoa Falls and Agnes Scott to start off the season. That included the first career win for interim head coach Abbie Parde, who will be a guest on the program, and some early statistical impressive results. Logan Priddy, who will be a guest on the program, she leads the USA South Conference in aces per set. Bailey Lance, second in the USA South in digs per set. And Caitlin Presley, second in the USA South Conference in kills per set. So those 3 getting it done on the volleyball court. Cross country had some big success at the Eye Opener Festival down in the Greenville-Spartanburg area. And then they will hit the road to Berea, Kentucky this Saturday. Cycling got their season started on the mountain bike side of things. Big weekend in Cleveland, Georgia at the Truett McConnell event. They will hit the road this weekend heading to Lindsey Wilson College. Football, as 2 of their games in the books, a season opening defeat to Shorter at Ives Lamel Family Field. Great crowd at that one. Want to thank everyone who came out and supported the football team to get things started this season. And then a trip to Newport News, Virginia, not the way the Tornadoes wanted it, 27-7, the final up in Newport News, Virginia. One more road game at Averett this weekend. That's 6 p.m. in Danville, Virginia, if you want to make the trip up that way. And then Greensboro at home, the conference opener for the Tornadoes. That's coming up on October the 1st at 2 p.m. And then homecoming the following weekend versus Methodist at 8 p.m. or check that, October 8th at 2 p.m. So a lot happening, especially with the fall sports of football, volleyball, men's and women's soccer, all in full swing. Cross country and cycling hit the road again this weekend as well. Tennis is underway with their fall schedule. Also, just want to give them a shout out also. And with that, And as we're on the subject of football, we'll bring in our first guests of the evening. So we'll invite into the program now. We've got 3 new members of the Tornado coaching staff with us this evening. Really happy to have these 3 make their Tornado Talk debut. In that top right corner, wide receivers coach Rashad Nelson. Coach, thanks for joining the program.
Thank you for having me.
And then in the bottom right is the defensive backs coach here at Brevard College, LaDarius Wiley. Coach Wiley, thanks for joining the show.
Thank you for having us.
And also with us, Garrett Groshek, the running backs coach in that bottom left corner. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Good to be here. Let's get started.
Yeah, let's get this thing started. Well, want to inform our viewers and listeners, there's a kind of a unique backstory how you guys all ended up here at Brevard College, but each of you have just fantastic, backgrounds and resumes as well. And, we'll start with you, Coach Garrett Groshek. You had a highly successful career as a player with the Wisconsin Badgers, a 2-time captain. You played in the Rose Bowl, you name it, all academic Big Ten. And then you go on and experience the NFL with the Raiders and the Vikings. And then this past spring, you were a player at the Pittsburgh Maulers of the USFL. Folks caught a lot of that action on Fox. And by the way, we talked about this a couple shows ago. Coach Bill Kyatt, the head coach of the Tornadoes, a coach for those Pittsburgh Maulers, part of that coaching staff. And of course, that's where you got to know Coach Kyatt, and then you eventually come here to Brevard College. Fill us in even further how that all worked itself out, being down in Birmingham for the USFL, playing under Coach Kyatt, and now coaching here at Brevard.
Yeah, so with the USFL, me and Coach Kyatt got, 4 months together where we spent, a bunch of time together. We're able to build a relationship, had a bunch of in-depth football conversations as we were going through the season. And then hadn't heard much from him from, July until August, which, is really only a month. But and then he ends up shooting me a text, and he said, I got an idea for you. Ends up calling me that next day. We talk on the phone. He kind of throws out the idea of coming down here. At the time, I'm in Wisconsin and being the running backs coach for the season. So I told him that I needed to talk to my wife first, obviously, and see if it was the best decision for us. Okay. And then, obviously accepted the role, got down here August 10th, and kind of got thrown into the fire, and we're just going with the flow right now. Just trying to always improve.
Outstanding. And Coach Wiley, a sort of similar story, playing in the USFL also, this time with the Philadelphia Stars, who Brevard College general manager and, a big part of the program here, Martin Bayless, was on that coaching staff. And, just to tell people a little bit more about Coach Wiley, stellar career as a defensive back at Vanderbilt, graduated with both a bachelor's and also a master's in education from Vanderbilt, a 4-time SEC academic All-American, and then goes on spending time with the Titans, the Seahawks, and the Panthers of the NFL, Los Angeles Wildcats of the XFL, and then this spring, the Philadelphia Stars with the USFL, where, again, kind of like, Coach was telling us, the door to Brevard College arrived. Can you tell us even more about that experience and how you wound up here?
Yes, sir. Just, being a student of the game and building the relationships. Like you said, Coach Bayless was our defensive back coach for the USFL, the Philadelphia Stars, and in the XFL for the LA Wildcats. So you see how football is a relationship game. And he just, took the role of a mentor and told me, about this opportunity. And then just hopping on the phone with Coach Kyatt and him presenting the opportunity of being an NCAA defensive backs coach. And, with opportunities like that, you can't pass it up to be able to share your knowledge, sort of pay it forward, all of the lessons and all the wisdom that you've gained from other coaches, and to be able to share with the young men that we have here.
And Coach Wiley, I do want to congratulate you also, along with Coach Bayless. The Stars runner-up in the USFL. You guys had quite a run. Can you reflect back on just that experience as far as being part of that USFL this past spring, and the run you guys made with Philadelphia?
Yes, sir. Well, it wasn't a normal run. We didn't go undefeated or losing one game like the Birmingham team did. We were sort of, I guess you would say, counted out, I guess, as far as in our division, because everyone was choosing the New Jersey Generals to face the Birmingham Stallions in the championship game. And we ended up losing to the Generals both times in the regular season, and we got a chance to play them the third time. And, like any athlete, when you line up that third time, you say there's no way that this team is going to beat us a third time. And I think everybody just did what they were supposed to do. Everybody did their 111. We had a good week of practice, and then we just, left it all out on the field, and that put us in a championship position to be able to face Birmingham, which, I still think we should have won. But, I ended up losing by 3 points, but it was definitely a great experience just, to ride the highs and lows of the season and the inaugural season to be in that championship game. So it was a pleasure.
Yeah, and by all accounts, a successful year for the league altogether. The folks from Fox and NBC are ready to continue to invest in it, so looking forward to seeing how it grows. Rashad Nelson, the wide receivers coach, and he heads up the community outreach for the Brevard College football program, a graduate of Miles College. He had an outstanding career as a wide receiver with the University of North Alabama, including a trip all the way to the D2 national championship game. Was part of the inaugural D1 team there at North Alabama as well, and just a lot of success on Rashad Nelson's resume as well. And from my understanding, Coach Nelson, you were also down there, in that Birmingham area, and that's where you were able to, find this Brevard College, connection as well. Tell us more.
Yes, sir. I attended Miles College in Birmingham, Alabama, and after the USFL draft got done, I was lucky enough to be a part of the emergency list of players who were going to be available, whether or not somebody went down or somebody was released. So with that being said, I wanted to take it upon myself to go ahead and introduce myself to all the coaching staffs within the city, being that all the teams were located in Birmingham, and let them know, put a face with a name and tell them that I'm ready and I'm available and when the opportunity presents itself. And I'm looking forward to helping any team that takes a chance on me. And lucky enough for me, the Pittsburgh Maulers happened to be practicing at Miles College, my alma mater. So I saw Coach G a whole bunch. He saw me. And one of the first people I ran into when I went to go introduce myself was Coach Kayet. I introduced myself, told him I was a part of the draft pool, but I'm still living here in Birmingham. I'm training hard every day. You're probably going to be seeing a lot of me just coming out to the school to continue to work out. And, when the opportunity comes, I can't wait to be a part of this team. And he embraced me from that very first conversation. He told me to keep in contact. And throughout the season, every time I showed up to the school, he would take the time upon himself, instead of just getting right on the bus to go ahead and leave the facility. He would take the time out to have a conversation with me. We would talk about how the season was going, some things he'd seen from me, and some of my training on the field, and some things that I can improve upon, and some things that I should be looking out for in myself to keep working for. And one thing I really appreciated about him was just how genuine all the conversations were. And by season's end, told me that he would do whatever it took for me to get that opportunity so I could achieve my dream, and he would be in contact with me. And about a couple weeks later, I was actually on the way to the XFL HBCU showcase in Jackson, Mississippi. I just got on the road, and Coach called, and he ended up offering me the job opportunity. And I've been rolling. I've been here ever since, and I'm blessed to be a part of it.
Outstanding. Well, certainly what a blessing for the student athletes here to be able to learn from coaches like yourself, and with all the experience you all have. Coach G, Coach Groshek, now that you've been here for a little bit and you've sampled Brevard College Tornadoes football, I know you guys are in the thick of it, preparing for Averett right now. But, if you can kind of take the long view for us, now that you've seen the program, you've seen what Brevard College is all about, you've seen what this coaching staff is all about. What are your impressions of Brevard College football?
Oh, for me, my impressions, I didn't necessarily come in with expectations or anything like that. So I'm just bringing the outside perspective to it. You got some great coaches and Coach Lindsay, Coach Kayak, Coach Bayless that have all had NFL experience, both playing and coaching, and just kind of bringing in some things that I've seen in different programs, whether it's Wisconsin, whether it was Las Vegas, or even in the Maulers, just things that maybe we could do a little bit differently, maybe things that we're doing well. How do we build off of that? And just trying to have an open mind to everything that comes about, not trying to judge any moment and just be in the moment and then improve any way that we can, or any way that we can figure out how to get a little bit better. Always improving.
Similar question for you, Coach Wiley. What are some of the things you're noticing from the the team culture here, the things that Coach Kayak has built up over the last few seasons, and the program in general? What makes Brevard special?
Just the camaraderie and the relationships built within the coaching staff, and then built with our players. We put our players first, and we're servant leaders. So whatever our players need and however we can help our players, we put in the work, we put in the hours, and we try to put our guys in the best position, to give them the keys to success. And then them just being very receptive of the coaching and the coaching staff, with alumni that we have on the coaching staff, with the experience that we have on the coaching staff. They've taken that and they've sort of run with it, and sort of built their own identity. We have kids that just want to win, and they're doing everything they can to win, and they're just continuing to learn. And that's sort of what I've loved about this group. As coaches, I say we're problem solvers. We've had plenty of problems to fix, but they've taken everything that we've taught them, they've learned, and they've created new problems for us to fix. So you can only respect that, as a team, that they're always developing, they're always growing, and we have a bright future for these kids, and we look forward to seeing the results on the field.
Coach Nelson, anything to add to that as far as the things you've experienced from your lens, seeing the Tornadoes program obviously up close and personal?
I would just say that just being a part of this team and a part of the community, just how receptive everyone is and how welcome everyone is. Each and every day, everybody comes in with a positive mindset and a positive attitude, ready to get to work and just embrace whatever that day's task is. And it really makes coming to work a lot easier, a lot funner, and it makes it real easy to go ahead and coach these kids when they want to learn and they're anxious to find out new things about the position and working their craft and whatnot. So it creates new challenges for us as coaches, and that's the things we want. That's the things that I know helped us excel as players, just wanting to come in and wanting to grow and get better. And so we embrace it every day, and I've loved every moment of it.
Outstanding. Coach Groshek, running backs coach. Tell NATO Nation a little bit about your unit that you've been working so closely with.
Well, a bunch of experience out of that group with Mitchell Yoder, DJ Taylor, Freddie Aiken, Devonte Murray, all guys that have been in the program for multiple years. So when I first got here, they actually helped me out a lot in trying to learn the offense, the system, how they do things here. And really then relying on them to help coach some of the young guys, the transfers that are coming in as well. But a very cohesive group. They're all, best friends. They all love hanging out. And that's similar to a lot of the running back rooms that I've been in. So that was, refreshing to come into that room and kind of feel a little bit of the same culture as to where I'd been before. Just a bunch of guys that love playing football and love spending time with each other, and both challenging each other and holding each other accountable. So it's been refreshing to, be thrown into that group, and they're just helping me along the way.
Good stuff. Same opportunity for you, Coach Wiley. Tell us about the defensive backs, the secondary here at Brevard.
We just got a young group. We have 3 older guys in Jock Cam and Tyler Harrison that have sort of taken the leadership. But we really have a player-led group. They hold each other. They set the standard, and I try and raise it. They hold each other accountable, and they just set the bar, and I just try to continue to raise it and to challenge those guys, and just to share the knowledge that I've learned. Still playing defensive back and just trying to put them in position to win. And they've been very receptive of that. But I have a lot of young guys that are unproven but are ready to prove themselves. We're about 9 deep at DB right now, So, I mean, I could go on a list to name, you know, a bunch of guys that are impacting the game, but all of them in some fashion have impacted the game. And as a group, you know, we've tried to harp on attacking the ball and creating turnovers, and they've sort of made that a daily habit. We have a very athletic group, and we have a very smart group. I believe our group is sort of, I like to hang my hat on our group being the leaders of the defense as far as, you know, communicating, as far as getting guys lined up, and as far as taking ownership of the defense. And I think they've been very receptive of that, and they've definitely just continued to challenge me as a coach, and I'll continue to challenge them as a player.
Coach Rashad Nelson, wide receivers coach at Brevard College. Tell us about your unit.
We've got a very deep unit, a great unit of a lot of hard workers. And that's one thing that I hang my hat on as a coach, the fact that we have guys who are very eager to learn and are willing to come to work every day, put their hard hat on, and are ready to just attack whatever the challenges are for the day. One thing I appreciated was that, you know, from the moment I was named the receivers coach, these guys, they reached out to me in mass, a lot of them back to back, want to know different drills, some of my philosophies having to do with the receiver position. What some of the things we're going to be anxious to learn, whether it be releases, route combinations, concepts, some things that they think helped me in my playing career that I would like to bring to them, whether it be Dalton Cole, Zach Orr, Cooper Hogan, Deshaun Curtis, Jonathan Woods. It's a lot of guys. They're going to get mad at me if I leave them out. But it's a great group of guys, a very vocal group. They do a great job of leading the younger guys and letting them know the culture that's here at Brevard. And I look forward to working with them every single day.
Great stuff there, Coach Nelson. And we did see a couple messages come across the graphic there. Do want to remind viewers, interactive show here, so leave us a message on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube, and we'll do our best to bring you into the program as well. Well, coaches, before we let you go, stick with us for just a couple more moments, because we're going to bring in a couple of Tornado student athletes and enter in the building now. Montrell Stinson, Devonte Murray are both in the house. And before we get these two going on Tornado Talk, want to give the coaches an opportunity to help us introduce these two. So Coach Groshek, we'll start with you. We'll let you introduce the player from your unit, Devonte Murray. Tell us, NATO Nation, about Devonte and what makes him special.
You know, the thing that makes him special has nothing to do with the football field. Getting to spend quite a bit of time with Murray is what we call him here. He's always curious, and he's always trying to find ways to get better, which for the most part has been all about football. But that trait and that kind of curiosity and that mindset is something that's going to allow him to be successful in whatever he wants to do, whether it's football field, academic, classroom, business, anything that he wants to get into. He's got the habits and the right tools to take on any challenge and make the most of it.
All right. Thank you, Coach Groshek. And Coach Wiley, Montrell Stinson, a defensive back with you. Tell us more.
Yes, so Stinson had a different type of journey here, first playing receiver and then switching to defense. And I've had the pleasure of, imparting my knowledge and wisdom upon him, being a safety myself, and him demanding more of me and me demanding more of him. I hold him to a very high standard, and I know he does as well to himself. But Stinson is a very bright individual. I call him by the last name. I call everyone by the last name, so he's always going to be, Mr. Stinson to me. But as a coach, I try to, create, sort of these responsible individuals, that leave a positive impact on the world. And I try as a coach to, introduce this light that's already in them and to allow them to let their light shine. And Stinson has a bright light within him, and when he lets that light show to the world, he's going to have a heck of an impact on the world. But it's all up to him. He does the work daily. And he's always searching for ways to get better. And that's what I respect most about Stinson. He always has a smile on his face. And, like me being a player, me seeing them have fun and seeing them, do the work, it only makes me happy. So, he's been a pleasure to coach. And I just look forward to, how he produces on and off the field.
All right, Coach Nelson, you've seen these two at practice. You've seen them on game day. On the wide receiver side of things, you're trying to coach your guys up to beat Stinson, I guess, back there. But tell us, when you see Devonte and Montrell on the screen here, tell NATO Nation, your thoughts as far as, these two exceptional student athletes.
Well, that's one thing they are definitely is exceptional student athletes. One thing that I have just come to notice about them are their competitive habits, just how competitive they are. And that's one thing that I love because it makes me get into that mode where I want to go back and forth with them. I can't beat them myself, so I want to coach up my guys just as hard as I can to try and beat them and defeat them. And we have our battles at practice where we talk and they talk back, and it creates a great work environment just for both the players and the coaches because we're always trying to one-up each other and try and get the most out of one another. So it's just like with how the old saying goes, iron sharpens iron, and that's exactly what we're trying to do each day. And with Murray, he's with us on the offensive side of the ball, and that's one thing that I appreciate about him is just the fact that the passion that he brings to the position, how much that he wants to learn, he wants to make the most out of each rep. He wants to finish each rep hard, and he wants to get the most out of it. So you can tell that just in how he approaches each rep. He wants to get the most out of it. He knows that there's only so many that goes around, so he's going to make sure to put his best foot forward each and every time.
All right. Coach Garrett Groshek, Coach Rashad Nelson, Coach LaDarius Wiley, three of the newest members of the Brevard College coaching staff here for the football program and already making a big impact. Really appreciate you joining us on Tornado Talk. Thanks for joining the show. Best of luck this weekend up at Averett.
Thank you. Really appreciate you.
All right, there they go. And as they helped us introduce these two student athletes, great to be joined by Montrell Stinson in the top right corner, the defensive back. And, as his coach described, a wide receiver when he got started here at Brevard College, but now playing DB. Montrell, thanks for joining the program.
Thank you for having me.
All right. And also with us, junior running back, Devonte Murray. Devonte, thanks for joining the show.
Thank you.
All right, Devonte. Well, hey, let's start with you. Junior running back out of Murphy, North Carolina. You got a lot of touches this last game. Not the results I know that the Tornadoes wanted in terms of, the win-loss category. But tell us about, how you felt personally and, how the running game has been established and what you guys are working on so far in this young season.
So far this season, we can see that the running game is definitely going to be there. We have a great group of people back there that's ready to play. We have myself, Freddie Aiken, Mitchell Yoder, DJ Taylor, Chance, Smokey. There's a great group of guys that's willing to learn and just put forth their best efforts to just be the best the team needs.
Yeah, and Devonte, just a follow-up on that, you mentioned all those running backs. You guys really create a lot of different styles. You each kind of have your own unique, style and ability. Can you describe yourself and maybe a couple of those others, kind of how you guys have different looks when you get in there and get a touch?
Oh, man. For myself, I like to say I'm just balanced. I can do everything. I like to, stay positive. I can run, catch, block, all of it. Then we have the speed back, Freddie Aiken, he gets the ball, he's running fast. He's going to run past somebody. Then we have, the anchor breaker, DJ Taylor, he's amazing at everything. He has this spin move he does, I'm trying to master that myself. Then we also have, Mitchell Yoder, like I said, he's the golden back. Everybody wants to be like him on a running back team. He's our leader. I'll definitely say he's our leader. We just try to look up to him, learn from him every rep, every play, every practice, just trying to be the best like him.
Very good. Montrell Stinson, the junior defensive back from Maiden, North Carolina, Maiden High School. Montrell, you've made this transition from wide receiver to defensive back. Tell us kind of how that, got originated and also how it's been so far as moving to the other side of the ball.
Well, first off, I've been here my first 2 years here. I started off as a receiver. And basically, I'm not sure. It's just something in me. It just told me, I've always been a defense kind of guy. So it's I want to go back to my roots. So I decided to talk to coach. He told me to try it out in the spring, see if I liked it. I ended up loving it. So I trained all summer so I can get back now. And I've been loving it ever since.
And just like we were talking with Devonte, would love to hear from you as far as, that unit, there's some talented DBs on this Tornado roster. Some guys with some big time experience as well. Tell us about your fellow DBs, how you guys, are so tight as a group, and what makes you guys tick.
Oh, yeah, all of those guys, we're all very close. They're my boys. My boy Champ. You got Tyler Harrison, Jock Pleasure, James Woods. All the guys, they're just all hard workers, and it just makes it fun to go out there with them guys and just making plays. And everybody just wants to learn more. Everybody wants to just be the best, and they push me to be the best as well.
Montrell, let's stick with you with one more here. We just had, 3 of the coaches from the Brevard College coaching staff, Coach Groshek, Coach Nelson, Coach Wiley on the program. And you look at these resumes and you see these NFL brand names. You see NCAA Division I, Big Ten, SEC, you name it. Not to mention other coaches on the staff like, Coach Kyatt and Coach Cruz and, Coach Lindsay. You name it, these guys have some serious experience. Can you talk what it's like, to have a coaching staff like that with that much experience under their belt and being able to bring that to you guys as Tornado players?
Well, honestly, I'll just say that we're blessed to have the coaches that we have, because I wouldn't say that any other team in the nation will have as many coaches as we've had with all the experience combined, playing in the league, playing D1. So just to learn from them and learn everything that they've learned, and just it's helping me with my game every day. Just I always go up to Coach Wiley, ask him about the little details, and every day I can just see myself getting better, and I appreciate all of them for that.
Yeah, defensive coordinator Shane Nelson as well. The list goes on and on as far as this experience on this staff led by head coach Bill Kyatt. Devonte, same question for you. You get the benefit of learning from these guys. These guys were just playing over at the USFL or coaching there, and now here they come a couple months later, able to bring all that knowledge to you all here, at Isla Family Field. What's it been like playing under this coaching staff?
Oh man, just like Montrell said, man, like it's just a blessing. Like he said, all these coaches with different, football IQs, man. It's just letting us learn each and every second. Personally, I'd like to shout out my running back coach, man. Over the summer, I got a call from Coach Kayak saying he had a surprise for me. And then, I'm thinking to myself, talking to my girlfriend, I was like, what could this surprise possibly be? And the first day on campus, August 10th, I seen my coach, man. I knew from that second, I knew that was the surprise. He's been teaching us everything to help us with our game. My football IQ since he's been here has definitely evolved. The stuff I see on the field now is I would have never seen before him. It's a blessing to have these coaches and this everything.
Outstanding. Would like to take it off the field for a moment. And, Devonte, would love for you to get us started. Tell us what you've been working on academically here at Brevard College and what you might have your sights on, in a couple years upon graduation.
Actually, I'm a criminal justice major. As you said, I'm a junior, so I have, just a couple of years left, 1 year left after this. My plan is to start off, start small as a patrol officer and just work my way up to the top, become a detective, hopefully. Not too many times you see, African-American saying he's a criminal justice major. So when people, see that, I see faces and I know, I just want to, prove to people that anyone can do anything they want to do, I'm going to make my city, state, whatever, the best it can possibly be if it's up to me.
Outstanding. Really appreciate that, Devonte. Montrell, same question for you. Tell us what you're working on academically and, what the future may hold.
I'm a health science major, and after my studies in college, I plan to be a physician's assistant. And basically that comes from because growing up, I basically grew up around with my mom and just her working in the hospital, just growing up. That just, I don't know, something about it. It's just in the health field, I've always been interested. So I plan to do something with that.
Outstanding. And Montrell, you've been at Brevard College for a few years now. A lot of high school prospects and, young future NATOs perhaps tune into this program. If you were to give them a message as far as what makes Brevard College football, such a great experience in a special environment, what would you tell them?
Honestly, I'd say just keep working, work hard, and It's it's been great since I've been here. Just getting to know everybody, just the chemistry we have as a team. Everybody's just best friends. They've really become my brothers at this point, just from growing from the first year I've been here. My boy Bargelo, Darryll, I've just come close with everybody I've come in contact with.
Outstanding. Same opportunity for you, Devonte. You have a message to the youth who may be tuning in and wanting to check out Brevard College?
I will just want to say, bring the effort. One thing you see with this team is effort. Effort is always there from play to play, every practice, every meeting. Like, you see it effort. We see everybody working to be the best they can possibly be. So, like, for the young kids, just keep effort. Just like, if you feel like you have too much effort, just bring some more up. Just effort is all we got, and that's what we know. Effort is everything.
All right. Well, there's business at hand as well. And I know, speaking of effort, you guys are working hard this week to prepare for Averett, a trip up to Danville, Virginia this Saturday. Devonte, tell us about this week of preparation ahead and what the key will be for the Tornadoes to get back to their winning ways at Averett.
Oh man, we just got to shrug off the negative stuff. Of course, we didn't start the season like we wanted to, but stuff happens throughout the season. Everything game, it's not going to be perfect. So coming into this game, we just got to keep the past in the past. We got to just start forward, just keep moving forward. Throughout practices and even the game, we see progress. We see progress and improvement every step of the way. So we're going to keep that up. And like you said, what we said earlier, we have too many talented people. We have a great set of DBs, a great set of running backs, QBs, receivers, offensive line, defensive line. So, like, we're just going to stay positive and just keep improving.
Outstanding. And Montrell, what's on your mind? And, that unit that we've been talking about, those DBs heading into the Averett matchup.
Well, just from knowing Averett, they love to throw the ball. So just me with the DBs, we just stress alignment, assignment, trying to be where we need to be. And honestly, just playing with them guys, I feel the most comfortable with anybody going in. Even when the next group comes in, if one of us get tired, I'm comfortable with anybody goes out on the field as a DB. And we just have to be on our P's and Q's this week because they love to throw the ball. So it's going to be on us to stop them.
Outstanding. Montrell, Devonte, before we let you go, want to give you the opportunity, any shout outs or thank yous you may want to pass along. Montrell, the floor is yours.
I'd love to shout out to my mama and my aunt, because they really, throughout this whole journey at Brevard, they've been the most supportive of me, and I wouldn't be able to be here without them.
Devonte Murray, same opportunity for you. Anybody who's helped you along the way or maybe tuning in, or you just want to thank or shout out?
Definitely got to thank my mom, Jenny. She's my everything. She supports me every step of the way, and I appreciate that so much. Also, I want to shout out my girlfriend, Jada. She made a comment not too long ago. Since I met her, she's been my day one. She's been pushing me to be the best version of myself on and off the field, and I really appreciate that. Also, again, I got to bring back in the running back group. Just Yoder, DJ Taylor, Freddie Lee Aiken, Allen, Chance, Smokey, Jackson, Aiden. It's just a long line of group of people I just want to shout out. I love all of them. They became family along the way, and I can't do this without them.
Outstanding. Montrell Stinson, the junior defensive back from Maiden, North Carolina. Devonte Murray, the junior running back from Murphy, North Carolina. Good luck, gentlemen, heading into the Averett matchup this weekend. We'll be following it every step of the way. And great job this evening on Tornado Talk. Thanks for joining the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
All right, there they go. We're going to switch gears quickly here and head from the football field to the volleyball court, bringing into the show, making her Tornado Talk debut on camera, interim head volleyball coach, Abbie Parde. Coach Parde, thanks for joining the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Phil.
Well, it's great to have you on the show here. Just to pull back the curtain a little bit, when Abbie arrived at Brevard College as an assistant coach under head coach Anna Grant last December, January-ish, Coach Parde also was helping out sports information. So she would work behind the scenes and make sure programs like Tornado Talk went off successfully. So want to thank you publicly for all your help with sports information during those months. But meanwhile, Coach Anna Grant is no longer here at Brevard. She departed for a new opportunity, and you have been named the interim head coach of Brevard College volleyball, and you're already well underway with the season underway here, several games under your belt. But I'd love to hear the whole kind of odyssey, for you, Coach Parde, arriving here at Brevard, being named the interim head coach, and what the experience has been like since.
Yeah, I mean, I was super grateful to have all of the spring to, build relationships with my players and have that trust. So when it did come this summer and I was named interim head, the players were all on board, really excited about kind of like where we're taking this program. And, I'm really grateful for the opportunity. And I'm also really excited for Brittany Franks, who also has a new role now as an assistant coach here. And she's stepped in and been such a great asset to our program. So, it was kind of a whirlwind of a summer, but now that we're in the flow of things, it's been really good.
And I'd love to hear just sort of like personally, just how meaningful it was for you to experience that first practice, as a head coach, and then that first game, and then the first career win, that came on that first weekend in Decatur, Georgia versus Toccoa Falls and Agnes Scott. I mean, what a start to your coaching career.
Yeah, I would say there were a lot of nerves for all of those moments. The first practice was super exciting. The energy in the gym was really high and everyone was communicating. And then when we went to the first game, I honestly wasn't really that nervous. I felt like I had prepared the girls well in practice. And I mean, what we were going to do that day was what we were going to do. So when we got the first win, we had a huddle and I talked to the girls. I was like, first dub under our season, and they're like, first dub for you. And like, everyone was just really excited. So energy's been great and optimism's there. So it's been good.
Yeah, first W's versus Toccoa Falls, a 3-1 win to start off the season, then a sweep of Agnes Scott, 3-0 on Agnes Scott's home court, to start the season 2-0. This past weekend, dropped 2 matches, 3-1. We're able to manage a set against 2 very formidable opponents, Berea and Bridgewater. Can you tell folks about this past weekend? You guys made the trip over to Raleigh, North Carolina for a tournament hosted by Meredith, who was part of that as well. Also Maryville, some tough competition over there in Raleigh, but would love for those who weren't able to tune in or catch any of that, to learn from you exactly how that all went down and, what the learnings were for the Tornadoes.
Yeah, so like you mentioned, incredibly tough teams this weekend. It's the 1 and 2 seeds from our previous conference, and then the number 2 seed from our current conference. So it was a really challenging weekend. Definitely the fastest volleyball that we've played yet this season. And it was a big growing weekend for us in terms of showing up consistently and taking care of our side of the court. So there's just some tweaks here and there that I think once we get those cleaned up, we'll get the dubs to fall. But I'm really excited that we took those sets from those teams. And I think it really showed our program and our players, like, we can do this and we can compete in this conference this season. So morale's high, even after 4 losses this weekend. We're really excited about it.
And, no rest for the weary, because, in just a couple of days here, right back in action at Bob Jones, trip, not too far down to Greenville, South Carolina. That's a 7 p.m. start. If any folks are down that way, Tornadoes at Bob Jones. And then the home opener on Friday, the 16th, Friday of this week, 6 p.m. versus Huntington. That's part of this Tornado Classic, a 2-day tournament. Then the Tornadoes will play again on Saturday versus Bob Jones at noon. So big opportunities for NATO Nation for the first time to see this year's squad in action at the Boschmer Gymnasium. Love for your thoughts as far as, the week ahead, the keys in these matches coming up, but also just how meaningful it will be to finally get to play at home at the Bosch.
Yeah, this weekend, the competition's not quite as high, so I think we have a good shot at taking down some of these teams. Again, it comes down to doing our side of the court and controlling kind of what we can. We've done some scouting reports for these guys already, so the team's aware of what we're going into this weekend, but they're pumped to be at home. Like, they are excited to have fans in the stands to support them. And I mean, there's always an advantage when you can play on the court that you practice in every day. So we're really excited to get the crowd here. And I know there's a SAC ice cream social on Friday, so we're hoping that brings in some students too. So hoping for a big crowd.
I think so. If there's one thing I've learned in all my years in college athletics, free food, whether it be ice cream or pizza or you name it, will bring out the student body. So I'm expecting the Bosch to be absolutely rocking. And, please make your plans. Tornadoes will host Huntington 6:00 on Friday night to get the home schedule going. And then right around the corner, the start of USA South Conference play. That starts with a home matchup on Thursday, the 22nd versus Pfeiffer. I know kind of all roads point to, that conference schedule. And Coach, I know you're probably in that one game at a time mentality when it comes to the players, but I'm sure you've also taken a look ahead to the USA South Conference and some of those goals.
Yeah. This conference is, pretty stacked top to bottom. There's not really any easy games that we're going to have. So it is definitely a day by day type of mentality when it comes to, giving information to the players for scouting reports. But, even after this past weekend, there was a lot of, upsets throughout our conference. There were a lot of teams that were beating somebody and then losing to somebody else. So I think this conference, in terms of records, because it could get pretty messy in the next couple of weeks. So I'm excited to see it, just kind of see everything falls. But it is nice that we play everyone twice. So we'll be able to kind of get through that first round of playing everybody and then tackle them again in round 2.
Yeah, the conference schedule starts with 3 home matches, so opportunities to see the Tornadoes take on Pfeiffer, William Peace, and Meredith. Go to bctornadoes.com if you want to check out that entire schedule. Well, Abbie, if we can look a little more big picture now that you've been at Brevard for a little bit, and in this new role as well, and you've gone to taste the flavor of the mountains of Western North Carolina. You're from Nebraska originally, also Brevard College, what it's all about as a culture, not to mention the volleyball program in specific. What are the things you're noticing as far as, what makes Brevard College special, why this is so attractive to, recruits who might be checking out Brevard College as an option to play volleyball?
Yeah, the first thing that pops in my head is support. And the support pours in from everywhere, from the athletic admin to professors, faculty, staff. Everyone wants you to succeed. And I think that's really important, especially if you're coming in as a student athlete. It can be a lot to handle when you're in season in the fall and you're trying to tackle classes and grades and all of that. So having support is the biggest thing. And I think that's what really makes Brevard special.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And, I know you're proud of, your team, not just on the court, but also off the court, whether it be community service or academic work and, supporting other student athletes and, other students here on the campus. Talk about, that emphasis as far as, what you as a coaching staff, yourself and Coach Franks, emphasize in terms of taking care of business away from the court.
Yeah, we talk a lot about culture in our program, and it's something that we're kind of making a shift right now through. But yeah, supporting other teams is really big. I know my players have a lot of friends on other athletic teams too, so they get excited to go watch them. They generally enjoy it. And then of course our grades, we tackle that. First and foremost, that's the most important part about being a student athlete is your education. So really big on that. And our players are also really involved in other aspects of college, like they're on the SAC board. They're also on the band. Multiple of them play dual sports. So yeah, they're very involved in campus. And I think our culture is something that's becoming very strong, and I'm really excited for it.
Well, Tornado fans, you can check out the Brevard College student athletes who are on the volleyball team this Friday, the home opener at the Bosch versus Huntington, 6 p.m. Saturday, noon versus Bob Jones University at the Bosch. Coach Parde, help me be a salesperson. If someone's tuning into this program, they've never seen Brevard College volleyball, one, but maybe there's even another group of people who've never seen college volleyball, period, in person. Help me get some of these folks to pack the Bosch. Why should they come out on Friday night, check out the Tornadoes, check out the sport of volleyball?
Yeah, volleyball is amazing because there's something happening all the time. Like you have something to watch. The ball is always moving. And it's just exciting because the energy in the gym gets really loud. And my team in general, I think you guys would love to just watch them because like I said, like their energy is great. The atmosphere is great. They're always cheering. Their sideline cheers are a lot, but they're fun. So yeah, definitely come check it out. It's just an exciting environment to be in, and there's always something going on.
Yeah, and you're right. Rapid fire as far as following the action. So no long breaks when it
Nope.
comes to the sport of volleyball. Keep your head on a swivel, as they say. Well, Coach, stick with us just a little longer. We're hoping to bring in a couple of your student athletes into the program. And joining us now, Bailey Lance and Logan Priddy have both joined the program. These two sensational student athletes who have already, done big things in this young season. Coach Parde, before we let you go, help us introduce Bailey Lance and Logan Priddy to NATO Nation.
Yeah, so Bailey Lance, she's our starting libero. She's a junior right now. She is so hungry when she comes into the gym. Every day she's there to get better, and she's there to push her teammates. And I'm super grateful for that and what she's bringing to our culture. And Logan is a sophomore setter. She's a starting setter for us. She's also incredibly hungry and loud and ambitious. Like, she wants this team to win, probably more than most people on our program. And she's ready to just grind every day. Say they both come into the gym ready to work and get better those 2 hours. So love having them in the program, and I'm excited for them this fall.
Outstanding. Well done, Coach Parde. Really appreciate you joining us here on Tornado Talk. We can't wait to see the Tornadoes in action this Friday at the Bosch. Thanks again for joining the show. Good luck this week.
Yeah, thank you, Phil. Thanks for having me.
All right, there she goes. Coach Abbie Parde from the volleyball program. And as she helped us introduce these two BC student athletes, in the top right corner, Bailey Lance, the junior defensive specialist from just down the road, Mills River, North Carolina, West Henderson High School. Bailey, thanks for joining the program.
Thank you for having me.
And also joining us as Coach Parde helped us introduce Logan Priddy, the sophomore setter from Greensboro, North Carolina, Grimsley High School. Logan, thanks for joining the show.
Thanks for having me, Phil.
Well, Logan, let's start with you. The season underway, 6 matches into this one and a couple wins to start the year. By the way, folks, Logan is ranked number 1 in the conference in terms of aces per set. We'll get to that in a second. But as far as the season goes, Logan Priddy, where you guys are at and, how the team is starting to gel. Give us kind of an update in how you guys are feeling.
Yeah, we had 4 freshmen come in that really gelled with our team. Overall, Abbie and Britt definitely push a family environment, and I feel like based on all the girls we had last year and the newcomers this year, we definitely have a family culture. We work very well off the court and on the court, and so it's nice to see how the season's unraveling and how preseason went, because we are going to do good things this year, I believe.
And similar question for you, Bailey. You've seen this team from the start of preseason. You guys working hard before you're able to even see an opponent. Then you got the season going. A group of newcomers along with several returners. Tell us how this year's team is materializing and where you guys are at.
Well, I think we came into the season really excited, and all of our newcomers brought a lot of talent in. So I'm excited to see where we can take this season. But I think everyone's really hungry to show people what we can do, and I feel like we'll prove it to people this year.
Now, the win versus Toccoa Falls in Decatur, Georgia to start the season, 3-1. You all put this one away. And our previous guest, Coach Abbie Parde, that was her first collegiate win as a head coach. Big time stuff. That'll always be in the record books, always be, on Coach Parde's resume. Did you guys celebrate that as a team? And did you guys, kind of put 2 and 2 together? I'm sure you were focused on winning the match, but once it happened, were you guys able to realize, wow, this is really special for Coach Bailey?
Yes, it was a very special moment. After the game, we all celebrated her, and we were really excited about the win, but we had to focus right back for our next game.
Yeah, that's right. And Logan, what are your memories from that weekend in Decatur, Georgia? Because you guys, got it done the very next game, a 3-0 win over Agnes Scott, but that had to be special that evening.
Oh yeah, and especially with Abbie being the interim coach, she's not in our eyes, she's not an interim coach. She is our coach. Like, that was so special to have her, like, on the court and celebrate her first win. And she's always, like, cheering us on. Like, even when we're down and, like, the team's upset or, like, we feel down on ourselves, she's such just a breath of fresh air. And it's really nice to, like, have a win in her pocket for her.
Outstanding. Well, Logan, we mentioned earlier, you're getting it done with the service ace, #1 in the conference at the moment, aces per set. What's the key to, or the secret to pulling off the service ace?
This one, honestly, is going to have to be a big shout out to my middle school coach and my high school coach, Kevin Anderson. That was something that he did not let us get away with, was miss serves. So throughout my whole middle school and high school career, he was honest about that. And I think that I owe him a big, like, gratitude for being #1 in the conference. But honestly, it's just taking a deep breath and letting the serve go over the net, honestly.
Yeah, getting it done, no doubt, with the service ace. And Logan, of course, the setter for the Tornadoes. You do a great job distributing to all sorts of options. You've got some hitters to set up. Tell us a little bit about those hitters and, kind of what you're looking at, on any given play.
Oh, I love my hitters, especially Ashley Hawksett, Caitlin Presley, McKenna Parkinson. I had them all last year, so I know their rhythm. And bringing in these new freshmen, it's challenging me to learn a new form of volleyball because everybody's set is different. So it's nice to learn, but I have a great connection with all my hitters. So it's really nice to be able to set them and have them put a ball down. And it's just so, like, fun to run a new thing and then just kill the ball all the time.
And Bailey Lance, the junior defensive specialist, the libero, more often than not for the Tornadoes. And, you're #2 in the conference in digs per set. Tell us, what it's like being back there on that back line and, being the one who gets it done defensively. What's the world of a defensive specialist libero exactly like?
I think it's really fun because we're the first line of defense, so we control the game. We have to be disciplined and stay in our spot in order for us to be able to set the ball and hit the ball and put it down. So it's a lot of reading our hitters, so we have to pay attention to their shoulders and everything our block does. But it's really fun to be back there and really help the team by getting all the balls up so we can succeed in offense.
Yeah, and just a follow-up on that, Bailey, Logan, your setter's right here with you. When you execute a dig, you're trying to set up Logan, who then would set up a hitter. Can you talk about that sort of chain of events?
Yes, so it all happens really fast, but we can talk to each other a lot. If a ball is too tight or if a ball is too far off or too low, she talks to me so we can work it out. And we really have to communicate to keep our connection well. So I know where to put the ball and she can set up our hitters.
And then she'll set up her hitters, which includes Caitlin Presley. We've been talking about these conference rankings. She's #2 in the USA South in kills per set. And meanwhile, the Tornadoes continuing to get it done and looking forward to this weekend where the Tornadoes will finally play a home match. And, a lot of excitement on campus to see the Nados in action on Friday versus Huntington. Logan, you guys excited to play in front of your home crowd?
Repeat that one more time, Phil. You cut out.
Your opportunity to play in front of the home crowd this Friday. How excited is the team to finally get to play a home match?
I'm so excited. I think that with us being ranked so low, that a lot of people have doubts, but like Bailey said earlier, like, we're here to be gritty. We're here to show people that, like, we are a team to be reckoned with. So it's really exciting. Like, I'm excited for this year for sure.
And Bailey, would you like to add to that as far as the excitement being able to play in front of the home crowd at the Bosch?
Yes, we've been on the road from the start of the season, so we're really excited to be back on our court and to show our other students and our peers that we are here to win and that they can trust us and they can come and have fun.
6 p.m. this Friday versus Huntington. Be sure to be there, part of the Tornado Classic at the Boshemer Gymnasium. Well, would like to go off the court just a little bit. And Bailey, tell us what you're working on academically.
So I'm an elementary education major and I'm a junior. So after I graduate, I want to be a kindergarten or first grade teacher.
Very good. And same question for you, Logan. Tell us what you're working on in the classroom.
I'm a sophomore. I'm a business major, and eventually I would like to own my own wedding planning business.
Very good. Before we let you go, want to give you the opportunity, any shout outs or thank yous you may want to pass along. I know Logan already, weaved one in there, during tonight's tornado talk, but do you want to give you each that opportunity to, really, give it some thought? So Logan Priddy, we'll start with you once again, the sophomore setter from Greensboro, North Carolina. Shout outs or thank yous.
I would like to give a really big thank you to both of my parents. They have never missed one of my games at Brevard ever, no matter where it's been, no matter if it's even at Maryville. So I'd like to give a huge thank you to them. I would also like to give you a big thank you to all my siblings. I'm one of 5. Again, Kevin Anderson, and then a very familiar face to Brevard. I would like to give a huge shout out to my biggest supporter, my boyfriend, Jerome Bass, that just gave a comment in the comment section. But yeah, I would like to thank all of them and just for their support every single day.
Nicely done. Same opportunity for you, Bailey Lance. Thank yous or shout outs?
Yes, I would like to say thank you to my parents for always pushing me to do my best. They've watched me play volleyball since I was in 5th grade, and they've always supported me. And also all the coaches I've ever had that have pushed me to be who I am today.
Outstanding. Very nicely done, ladies. Bailey Lance and Logan Priddy, two of the outstanding student athletes for the Brevard College volleyball program. Opportunity to see them here in action this Friday night for the home opener versus Huntington, 6 p.m. at the Bosch. Bailey, Logan, thanks for joining the show. Great job.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
All right, there they go. And we're going to switch gears yet again after talking some volleyball, and we're going to head to the cross-country running trails, and the cross-country season already underway as well for the Tornadoes, and joined now by head cross-country and track and field coach Darryll Patrick. Coach Patrick, thanks for joining the show.
Thanks, Phil. Thanks for having me.
Well, you all are well underway, and you started off a couple weeks ago down in Spartanburg for the Eye Opener Festival, a really competitive field there for that Friday evening race. Can you tell us about the Eye Opener Festival, how the Tornadoes performed, in that event in particular to start off the year?
Yeah. So Eye Opener is usually, it's a pretty big high school meet the day after. It's, hundreds of teams, high school teams there from North and South Carolina. So the day before is a college meet, and there was about 12 teams there, I believe, or 13. A mixture of Division I, like University of Furman was there. ETSU, Eastern Tennessee State. So in terms of top level competition, could not, be any better to start from there. But for our team, I was contemplating before, usually we race something a little smaller, our distance side, whether, being like a 5K or 6K for our men, and then like a 2 mile or a 4K for our women. But this year I decided, based on how my team trained and stuff in the off season, I want to start out, where we are in the where we should be racing towards the end of the season. So, for my women, it was a good start for us. Definitely shaking off a lot of rust, getting used back to racing again, because we only been training together for about 2 weeks prior. So, couldn't ask for a better start with them. They know what they got to work on from themselves and as a team. And then for my men is the same thing, good start, shaking off the rust. We all start out well, and then that summer training helps a little bit, but then once that racing happens, it's one of those things where you can keep pushing forward, or you just kind of sit back a little bit. And the course itself was a very, very good course, a little bit challenging, and that's another reason why I chose that course. Is I don't want something fast right now. We want something challenging and preparing us for later on in the year. For both teams, I'm very excited where we're at, and looking forward to these next couple meets.
Yeah, and next up, a trip to someplace you're very familiar with, Berea, Kentucky, an alum of Berea. Also, you got your coaching career started there as well. Preview the weekend for us, the trip to Berea.
Yeah, same thing. In terms of good competition, obviously the host Berea is a really good team. They've been conference champs for a long time, for numerous years, and so they still bring in a good team. And the competition, along with the course is very challenging, and that's the reason why I just chose to go there. Not necessarily because I went to school and that's where I started, but just the challenge of different terrain. And so, I'm excited to see how they look this weekend. So either way, no matter what happens this weekend, it's going to prepare us for the meet after that, which I think everyone's kind of looking forward to.
Yeah, and what's interesting is, the way the schedule is laid out. You have a race, then you have a couple weeks off, and then a race again, and then ultimately the conference championship and onto regionals as well. Can you talk about those kind of bye weeks, for lack of a better word? When you've got the 2 weeks off, how you all approach it from a training standpoint?
Yeah. So there's many different philosophies behind it. For me personally, the training from high school to college changes a lot, whether it be your overall mileage, daily mileage, weekly mileage is what we go by. Volume of training goes up. And so if you're demanding your athletes to race every single weekend, and trust me, you can ask my runners now, like they probably in high school, even myself included, you'd race 2 to 3 days a week sometimes. And I just, back then you can get away with it because you can kind of race your way into shape. Here it's, if you want to be good, you got to train. And so if you're constantly racing, you're going to just, start off getting better and better. And the next thing you know, fizzle out. And so, it's one of those, I believe, if we take those little breaks, those bye weeks, what you're saying, to kind of regroup, train a little bit harder, get us prepared for next week, it serves dividends later on down the road.
And Coach, this year's roster, a deep roster, a very strong junior class in particular, and just some overall depth. I think more than we've seen in the last few years. Can you tell us about that makeup of that roster, and obviously some big expectations when you look top to bottom?
Yeah, absolutely. Very junior heavy. So I'm very excited what we have. I'll start with my women. Zoe Capps. She's a junior from Hendersonville. Can't say enough about her. She works hard. She just loves running. Like, I tell her to take a day off, it's like, feels like a month for her. So she loves running through and through. I can definitely see her, after college, getting into marathon running or even ultra marathon running, to be honest. So very excited to have her this year. She trained well over the summer, so we have some big goals we're shooting for, and we're heading that direction. So very pleased with her. Haley Miller, she's a sophomore for us, from near Columbia, South Carolina. She's a very good hurdler. We talk enough about her in the track season. She's crushing it right now in cross country to help her training for track. So I'm looking forward to see how she does, how she improves. Sandra Diaz Martinez, she trained well over the off season. She's getting better, each and every week. And Sophia Agawa, sorry, I always have trouble with that one. She, came in. She's getting through it right now. She got a little bit of injuries and stuff, but she's battling through, along with Ashton Cashwell, who she's also on the women's lacrosse team during the spring. So she's a trooper. She's pushing hard right now, trying to get back in shape a little bit. So we're having some fun there. And then for my men, a lot of juniors. So I start with Devon Brodmyer. He was our top finisher this past race. He ran pretty well. Garrett Spangler, he's been training really well, hoping that he can, have a nice race coming up. Dalton Hawley from Florida, he, again, great summer training. So I'm excited to see his improvement. And then Justin King, he came in really good shape. So I'm hoping to see some big PRs from him this year. And so, yeah, and we got a freshman named Blaine Morton, who, freshman coming in first race, you're going to have your bumps in the road and, big wake up call. So I'm excited to see how he does. So yeah, overall, we're looking long-term. We're thinking, conference regionals. So regardless of the outcomes, I think these guys are going to be ready to go.
Great stuff, Coach. Really appreciate the overview of this year's team and, where you all are at this point as well. But stick with us just a couple moments longer here. We're going to bring in a couple of the aforementioned runners, the student athletes here at Brevard College. Devon Brodmyer has entered the building. Also, Zoe Capps. And Darryll, you talked about these two when you're running through the roster there. But, tell NATO Nation maybe something they don't know about these two and perhaps what makes them exceptional off the running trails as well.
For both of them, honestly, like they live and breathe running, and it's not just necessarily the running itself. It's everything that comes with it. It's the recovery. It's, doing the strength training, doing the core, doing the stretching. Like I tell them to go through 30, 40 minutes of yoga. They'll do an hour. Like they live and breathe, what it means to be a runner. So yeah, it's great to, go out there and enjoy the trails, which we do love the trails. But it's the other stuff that, helps you get better. And so they embrace that 100,000%. And sometimes I have to pull back. Like today I told Devon to go run 8 miles. He's like, only 8 miles. Like, I'm like, hey, just relax, so it's one of those, that a coach can never, would not hate to see. So yeah, can never speak any more highly of these people.
Good problem to have, right? When they want to keep on going.
Yeah.
Very good, Coach Patrick. Well, I really appreciate you kind of giving us an update where things are at early season here for the Brevard College Tornado Cross Country program. Best of luck this weekend at Berea. We'll catch up soon, no doubt.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Phil. Thanks for having me.
All right, there he goes, Coach Darryll Patrick. And as he helped us introduce Devon Brodmyer, the junior from Marietta, Georgia, in that upper right corner. Devon, thanks for joining the show.
Of course.
And also with us in the bottom center location, Zoe Capps. Zoe, thanks for joining the show.
Thanks for having me, Phil.
Absolutely. Well, Devon, let's start with you, junior from Marietta, Georgia. And you all got the season started a couple weeks ago down in Spartanburg at that eye-opener, and some pretty good results, yourself included. A strong finish for yourself, Devon. 20th out of 119 runners, and you were the second highest finisher by a non-NCAA D1 runner. The only one who beat you, if you look at it from that perspective, was the race winner. So, Devon, really strong performance. From your vantage point, tell us about your race down there in Spartanburg.
I was very happy with it. First race, you always just try and get used to racing, getting back to that mentality, getting used to hurt again. But I was pretty happy with how I held through the race and kept up the pace.
And what do you recall about, sort of whether it be the race field or the, racing surface or the trail or the track itself? What do you recall from that race as far as the challenges?
It's definitely there's definitely a couple decent sized hills, which isn't really something used to for racing. And the surface is a little bit slower because it's a little bit heavier, taller grass, but it's just stuff you have to overcome.
And Zoe, you had to try to overcome those same challenges on that course down in Spartanburg. You were the highest finishing Tornado. Again, a very strong field, all sorts of D1 teams within it, 66th place altogether, a time of 23:24. Tell us about your race to start off the season.
It was pretty good. It wasn't what I was expecting, but I'm looking to come back. I really enjoyed the course besides it being a little bit hot, but that's all good. We trained through the hot and we trained through the hills, so it all works out.
And an opportunity this weekend, to build on it at Berea. Tell us about this week ahead in terms of your training plan, your schedule, and the trip to Berea.
I'm really excited about the trip to Berea for me and the whole team. It's going to be a good course, and we've put in a lot of miles and a lot of training. And we've had some fun workouts to build up to this race. So I'm really excited.
And Devon, tell us about your week ahead. Coach mentioned trying to limit your mileage a little bit here and there, but what do you have in mind as far as what you're going to do between now and race day this weekend?
Definitely knock out another workout too, but just easy mileage. Other than that, pretty excited because me and the team been knocking out some really good workouts.
Very good. And Devon, Coach also talked about this strong junior class, and you guys have been together a little while now, and certainly gotten to know each other. But talk a little bit about your teammates, and in particular that junior class. You guys came in as freshmen, and you've been here ever since, and certainly spent a lot of time out there, running together. Talk about what makes that so special, this junior class of yours.
I definitely had to experience training every day, doing workouts with you guys, because we've all been out our worst together. We've all been out our best, so we kind of know what we need out of each other, and it's just a good feeling to know that.
And Zoe, a similar question for you. On the women's side, a great group of student athletes, and I know you all, as far as the women's side of the cross country team, spend a lot of time training together. Talk about your teammates.
I love my teammates. They are amazing. It was nice freshman year. I mean, we didn't have a girls team, but I was really excited sophomore year getting a girls team. I have some of my closest friends on there, and I really have enjoyed having them and training with them and pushing through all the miles and the warm weather, the early mornings.
Yeah, no doubt. Running is so unique where you really bond with the people that you're spending that time working out with. No doubt about it. Well, every time I have a cross-country runner on the program, I can't help but ask about the area that we're so blessed to be in. Here in the mountains of Western North Carolina, on the near the entrance of Pisgah National Forest and DuPont State Forest, and just this multitude of running trails that we have here in these beautiful mountains. Zoe, you're a local. You're from Hendersonville, so you're well familiar with this area. But I'd love to hear from each of you just how special it is, this opportunity to be able to run and compete and train in these mountains with all these trails. Zoe?
I really couldn't ask for a better place to train. The mountains, you climb up them and you just feel like you've really accomplished something. And it's so beautiful when you get to the top of a mountain. There's so many trails, like DuPont has so many trails, and I love Pisgah, up in the parkway. It's amazing area to get to run in.
What would you like to add to that, Devon? Tell us about those trails.
I'm a really big fan of the trails. I stayed here over the summer just running the trails. So that just kind of tells you how much I like the trails. Really adds to experience and training. Really allows you to get the most out of training.
Yeah, no doubt about it. What a blessing to have these mountains here for you all to experience. Certainly similarly the cycling program and the mountain bikers, and it's just a really neat deal here at Brevard College. Well, I'd love to learn a little bit about each of you as far as in the classroom academically. Devon, tell us what you're working on academically.
I'm a business and psych major, so double major, and still kind of looking at a couple options after college.
Very good. And Zoe Capps, the junior, tell us what you're working on in the classroom.
I'm a biology major, and I'm also thinking about picking up a coaching minor. I've been thinking about that a lot lately, that I would like to coach maybe and have a team of my own someday and get to show them how much the joy of running.
Very good. Certainly an excellent program here at Brevard College, if indeed you decide to go that route as well. Well, before we let you go, do you want to give you each an opportunity, any shout outs or thank yous you may have, anyone who may have helped you along the way? Devon Brodmyer, shout outs or thank yous. The floor is yours.
I'd like to shout out teammates just pushing me through, and my coaches getting me to where I am now.
Very good. And Zoe Capps, same opportunity. Any shout outs or thank yous?
I'd like to thank my mom and brother for always being there and supporting me, and also my teammates and coach for always being there and supporting me and just showing me the love of running and just being there.
Outstanding. Devon Brodmyer, Zoe Capps, good luck this weekend in Berea. Great job continuing to get it done, both in the classroom and, on those running trails. And we can't wait to see what the rest of the season has in store. Devon and Zoe, thanks for joining the show.
Thank you.
All right, there they go. And that wraps up another edition of Tornado Talk. I want to thank all of our guests as well as those behind the scenes. And just thank you, NATO Nation, for continuing to tune in and follow the Tornadoes. Be sure to follow the Tornadoes on social media at BC Tornadoes on Twitter and Instagram. Brevard College Tornado Athletics on Facebook if you would like to follow the Tornadoes there. And if you're watching this program on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and hit that little bell to receive all the notifications of when the Tornadoes go live. Tornadoes women's soccer will be in action on Thursday. Volleyball at home Friday and Saturday. Football hits the road to Averett. Cross country heading to Berea. Mountain biking in action as well. Men's soccer with another road match. Then they'll be at home next week. We'll be talking soccer on next week's program as well. Well, thanks again for joining the program. Go Tornadoes.